Hello again. 1 year passed since I arrived to US, and today I would like to share to everyone a part of my experience here to eliminate some prejudice and the myths about the expat's life. Within first of couple of weeks I visited different cities and counties around the west and east coast to feel the difference between them and also to find something mine. And before I became an expert here, I heard million suggestions from different people about the life in USA that now looks like funny jokes. There are essentially two main reasons of it. Firstly, because the tourists who visited the United States for a few days are not good advisors, as they don't know the domestic drills. And secondly, the excessive self-esteem and denial of cultural differences. Some of those who failed and came back to their countries of origin told me stories about hard life and realizing process here in America. I assumed that they are true, but since I arrived here, I have changed my mind. I give you an example. The first guy is a handyman without any education. He got $2,000 annually in his country, and once he arrived to US, he was ready to generate cash from any legal source. Now he getting 80,000 annually by working on track. Why? Because he was ready for any work, and now he building himself step by step. The second guy is a photographer. He got 20K before relocation, and he chose a small and very sophisticated city in US where he failed with realizing himself. Why? Because he didn't check the supply and demand, promote himself, and didn't want to study something new. Here in US, you need to know how to represent and sell yourself during the interviews. There was a time I also wanna come back, but I don't like to give up so fast, and also US is not the first or second country I lived, so I decided to fight. And sure, the US is not perfect, but comparing with other countries have a lot of additional benefits, including medicine, retirement fee, a good lifespan, and many others. Country ready to spend $1,000 for healthcare of each citizen, no matter he have income or not. And America pretty similar to Germany, but in latter expat need to know the local language in order to get it work. And also some refugees in Germany lives in tents, where in US they hold the benefits that even many locals find hard to obtain. So the myths. Many people hate US and often ask me how does locals think about them. Honestly, anytime if you're walking in Manhattan, you may hear hundreds of different languages. Like outside New York, there are some cities with large population of Chinese or Spanish speakers. So it's really hard to believe that you live in America because it's more multinational than most of the other countries, and people here more discuss their thoughts regarding the government and other countries. Everyone smiled to you here. I believe this myth came from advertising. In fact, smiling people is not more than Europe and much less than in Asia. Also, many colleagues even do not greet you while you enter in an office. Everything is expensive here. Well, the food and apparel price are similar to Europe, only some restaurant services and rent are expensive. There are not much good looking people in US and many fats. There are many beautiful people here, especially in New York, and regarding the fat persons, I believe it's similar to Europe. US roads and highways are the best. I think it's the same as in China, with only one difference. They are more dirty, and by dirty I mean the garbage on the streets and these highways. America has a best service. I believe it's an absolutely the same comparing with Europe or Asia. The difference is that sometimes you need to pay double and get less. Like in some Manhattan restaurants, two-person may left $100 and get similar to McDonald's service. US medicine are the best. Well, US got a good equipment, but doctors are not the best. Some places they even don't want to speak with you much and making decision based on computer programs rather than their experience. and for this service you need to pay thousands of dollars without insurance. Like ultrasound test takes only 2 minutes, where like in Russia it's 10 to 15. Imagine what doctor can see within 2 minutes only. It's essential to have a car in US. Well, no. If you live in the big cities and work within them, you may use a public transportation. That myth came from people who stay 50 or 100 miles from the place they work and don't want to spend 3 hours to get through their job location. Same in other countries. If you live 100 miles from the place you work in, you need to consider to buy a car or to relocate. New York is not US and San Francisco are most clean city in US. Maybe 60 years ago it was true, I don't know. But comparing now with other cities, New York are pretty similar. And San Francisco is not so clean as you imagine. It's more close to New York and more dirty than Hong Kong. And also the citizens in the big cities leave the garbage in a plastic bag just on the streets. And before city cleaners get to these spots, the scavengers and animals may unpack them and leave a part of what they don't need on the same street. Just go visit Broadway at 8 a.m. on Sunday and you will understand me. LA got a lot of tramps and beggars. Well, correct phrase will be LA is a tramp city. These people in India call it professional beggars, with only one difference. In US, they may find a good job if they want, and also a place to live like a shelter, but they just don't want to do so. And I assume that many of them earn more than me. They have bikes, animals, and mobile phones. Some smoke weed every day. Why? Because of donation, the government provide a place to live and food to eat to them, and the tourist provides cash. They live everywhere, installing not cheap tents any place they want. And the healthcare, oh yeah, they may use more advanced type of medicine for free, where I need to pay 1,000 no matter what. It's hard to find a job in US. Well, if we're talking about a legal job in US, even some simple positions need a license or certificate. I give you an example, like waiter, 3 different licenses, and transportation manager, several licenses, plumber, a special license and courses. Even move a gravestone in cemetery, you need to have a permission. Job searching is a kind of permanent state here. You also need to know living wages in your area, and don't forget the employers provide a gross salaries, not net. Like me in October 2019 got only $100 after all payments. Assuming that I don't have any mortgages and rents, I was a bit frustrated. New York and San Francisco got the highest rent fees. Well, if you live in the Hilton or rent a whole house with 7 bedrooms, it will be expensive in most of the countries. And yes, apartments in the US are more expensive, but price for food and other stuff are the same. Assuming some promos, discounts and happy hours, you will not find a big difference. By the way, I don't recommend you to live in San Francisco. It's always cold and the sun there shines as in high mountains. Day temperature difference and all their hills you need to walk. In US, it's easy to find any type of cuisine. Honestly, in US, it's very hard to find a good restaurant just by walking down the street. 95% of catering are burgers, steaks, and pizza houses with about a similar budget. By the way, I found normal pizza only once, and it was in Chicago. Generally, most of time, pizza in US are prepared in advance. Even in China, Indonesia, and Philippines, I found Western food more easily. In the following videos, I will uncover many topics in details, and below you may find some useful links for expats. Good luck!